Come on. Hey, y'all. Hey, how are you doing? And welcome to Can We Talk for Real? Y'all already know real talk for real people, the real and the raw, with your life and mindset transformational speaker, Tanya Tobias. Oh, yes. And guess what, y'all? I have some fabulous guests on with me on tonight because listen, I have gotten so many um inquiries and so many yeah, I got so much response on the subject of when families hold generational secrets.
Mm. Hmm.
Y'all
Mm.
listen. Y'all, this is just gonna be a as a matter of fact type conversation.
I
We're
love it.
just gonna go in, we're just gonna talk about the things that what God will have us to talk about. Um however we're just gonna do it. Y'all know how we do, y'all know how we get down. Let's just go and get it in. So listen. So I was thinking about this, and let me just introduce my guest because y'all know, gotta start talking. I got Prophetess Darren Jones on here. Y'all already know who she is.
Hey now.
Yes, I got Doctor Pastor. Uh, I call her Princess. Y'all, Princess. She's
That's
on
right.
with us as well. And listen,
Amen.
we got two other gentlemen that's going to join us. Listen, y'all, these are people that love to talk about real things from a real place. And yes, we love Jesus, but we also know that it takes conversation to heal a nation. It
Yes.
takes
Yes.
conversation to win souls. You know what I'm saying? Because y'all know
Mhm.
my motto: transparency is what heals a nation. If we can't be transparent, then what are we doing?
What are we doing?
What are
Hmm.
we doing? What are we doing? So when we talk about when families hold generational secrets, y'all, we got to stop the bleeding.
Yes.
Mm.
We got to stop the bleeding because if we're holding generational secrets, y'all know what happens.
What's
We
that?
are giving the enemy permission to torment our children
Mm.
and our children's children and our
That's
Mm-hmm.
children's children. I see, come on, I see Dr. Khalil. He's about to join us, y'all. Hey, Dr. Khalil, thank you for joining us. Can you hear us? I think he coming on in a
Well,
room.
hello.
I
But y'all
can
know I
hear. It's just a little delayed, but I can hear.
oh well, come on, Jesus, with the delay. Cause y'all know me, I'll start singing. Y'all know I
Can
sing
you
in
hear
out
me
of key.
okay?
And we can hear you just fine.
Mhm.
But y'all know when we don't have the I would say it like this, and y'all let me know how y'all feel about this. When we don't have the courage to say what it is, and we don't have the courage to really talk about those things that has been passed down from generations to generations to generations, then we are saying that I'm going to give you permission, whatever that secret is, to continue to destroy legacy, because that's what it's doing.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it's doing. When we, because secrets keep you silent,
Yes.
right?
Mm-hmm.
And when
Yes.
secrets keep you silent, that means you're not giving a voice to who you are in the kingdom.
Mm-hmm.
What do y'all
That
think about
part.
that? What do y'all think about that?
I agree with it. It's simply that I agree with it. I have watched in my own family secrets that are not told. And I'm looking at this revolving door and it's being passed down and passed down. And I'm like, hey, the other month we went to South Carolina, came together, and they were talking about everything in the lineage. I said, hey, what we gonna do talking about this alcoholism that keeps jumping, that's going on. Everybody got silent. No, we're not gonna get silent. I'm here. We're gonna talk about it because we
Mm-hmm.
have these next generations coming, and this is gonna carry on unless somebody let it be known that it's not just alcoholism, it's drug, it's addictions. Period. That
Yes.
I mean, I pushed it to the very last day, and then
Mm-hmm.
the elders began to open up and
Mm-hmm.
talk about, and that's what I was shooting for. So I totally agree that it gives the enemy that open space or that open door to just come on in and just let's keep it rolling because it has permission because it is a secret.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Exactly. Because when we don't talk about those things, it's almost like, and for lack of a better for better words, it's almost like we're siding with the secret.
Yes, definitely.
That's good.
You know what I'm saying?
Good.
Like we're saying, you know what? I'm going to hold you so dear to me that it doesn't matter how it's going to stop or prevent the future, our future lineage, our future, our kids. It doesn't matter how it's going to stop them from progressing in life.
And you know what's so crazy? Many times, you know, you hear when you see the secret, or you hear that when you finally find out about the secret, sometimes even in ignorance, they think they're protecting.
Yes.
And you're really not protecting. But the crazy part is this: sometimes you find, just like we inherit our eye colors, just like sometimes we are inheriting residue from traumatic experiences.
Yes.
Okay, if Pookie was molested by Uncle Bean, and you keep telling me not to go around Uncle Bean, but you don't put any reference. You don't give me any, why Uncle Bean is nice to me. I don't know why you keep telling me not to go around Uncle Bean. But because you really won't be open and you really want to address it, can you really protect me? Because I may look at you and say, well, I like Uncle Bean. I'm going around Uncle Bean, and boom, there it is. But many times what we're going through, it didn't start with us. So I love what you're saying. It started long ago. So we got the residue that we're going from generation to generation of these traumatic events.
Yes. I agree.
That's right. That's right. And the thing about it is, at some point and I remember my mom when we were younger, and she was talking about breaking generational curses, and she had us to say, like, denounce all these different things, when we were younger. Didn't know what we were talking about because we're kids, right? And she kept saying the buck stops here. We're not doing this for future generations. However, along with that, we still got to have conversation, because if I'm feeling some sort of way and you're not telling me why I'm feeling the way that I'm feeling, then the buck don't stop there.
Right.
Because now what I have to do is either self-medicate or go out there and try to get the answers as to why I'm feeling the way I'm feeling. And it may not always be the right thing.
Right.
And sometimes we deal with, and I remember talking about this a long time ago, we're dealing with the cousins of shame and guilt.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And then with the stepsister of embarrassment.
Yes.
Well, I don't want to tell you what happened to me, because I don't want you to look at me like I'm crazy. You know what I'm saying? Instead of saying, you know what, let me tell you how I was molested. Let me tell you how I was raped. Let me tell you how I dealt with going out there just being a straight up hoe. Let me just tell you how I was dealing with alcoholism. Let me tell you what my story is.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So we can prevent the next generation from making the same. I remember my grandma always tell me, you're not gonna make my mistakes, you're gonna make your own. I'm gonna tell you what my mistakes were. And if you make the same mistakes because of your choice,
right? That part right there.
No.
That part right there.
Right. So you just see what I already see the problem that's going to happen tonight. You can't say all that and keep talking.
Right.
I'm still on the cousins of shame. I wrote it down, right? So I take notes. I'm one of them kind of people. I need to listen, wait, you gonna back that all the way back up. Because you said you wanted us to be real. You know what I'm saying? Because we know shame to be a silencer.
Oh my!
Many times people won't talk about it just because of the shame. The shame almost makes you mute. But you said the cousins,
the cousins,
of shame and guilt.
That's right.
They're the ones that's got you acting crazy, and people don't even know why you act like that.
That's
but the reason you can't come around and sit with the family. Now I'm talking about my own life now. But the reason you can't come around and sit with your family and watch a movie, because you're carrying so much shame. So now you got me psychoanalyzing my own life with my first marriage. Okay. And so why you can't come around and sit with the family? Because you got shame and guilt and their cousins, and it's causing you not to even feel like you can sit here with your family now.
That's
because
right.
of some previous traumatic experience that nobody ever unpacked.
That's
I'm
right.
I'm with you on that.
Talk about them cousins. I need to know who I need them for me. I'm glad the listeners are here. We're so glad y'all here, but y'all for a second, I'm just gonna borrow for a second. Talk to me about them cousins.
So when you talk about the cousins of shame and guilt, right? First of all, I call them Siamese twins because they run together.
Oh.
So now you got embarrassment.
Oh my mind. Oh, my
Now
mind.
you got rejection.
Deliver me, girl. I'm sorry.
You got rejection because now you feel like, okay, no, you got this in your mind. I'm not good enough. And then we get the bottle milk called "I'm good" syndrome. I'm good.
That's the bottle milk.
That's that bottle milk that we feed ourselves. I'm good, but in reality, we're not good.
Right.
And sometimes we deal with things in this, and we talk about mental health as well. A lot of times we deal with things and don't know why we're dealing with it. And it's not, and here's the thing, it's not even your burden to carry.
It didn't start with you.
It started way back when.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And I remember even for myself, and I'm just going to, y'all know me, I just tell it all. I just believe in being transparent.
Yes.
But I remember when I was supposed to have been aborted. But I couldn't understand why did I always feel like I had to fight for my right to be here. I had to fight for a relationship. I had to fight for this. I had to fight for that. Why am I fighting? And there's nothing wrong, but why do I feel like I got to fight? Well, okay, well, it started at the moment of conception.
Yes.
It started in utero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's why I got to finish writing my book, Silent Tears: A Journey from the Womb. It started in utero. So because Satan, he doesn't play fair. You know what I'm saying? He's a legalist.
No.
So when you open the door, he's going to step all the way in.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? So then you wonder why our kids are feeling some sort of way, why they're dealing with ADHD, why they're dealing with depression,
autism.
You know what I'm saying? Why they dealing with all these different things? Because we're quick to label them. Yes, and I believe those things are very real. I'm not minimizing it, and sometimes people need help. Okay, even adults, have not been diagnosed correctly. They need help. You understand? I believe in therapists. Okay, although somebody, but when you don't deal with
altar and the couch.
Hello, okay, please.
Okay. But when you don't deal with the root of the thing, you got to deal with the root of the thing. Where's the root? And I was talking to a friend of mine this morning, and I was exchanging with him. I said, I remember praying to the Lord, and I said, God, show me.
Yes.
Show me why am I even dealing with these people that I don't even like them for real? You know what I'm saying? But why do I feel like I need to deal with them? Yeah. What are our situations? Why am I allowing, because I'm the one that's allowing this, right? So why am I allowing this to enter into my atmosphere? What in me made me feel like that was okay?
Right. You see, and that's good, and most people just aren't ready to do that. But that is the most healing place. I love that. I know for me, and I listen, when you accept your part of the problem, that's when you get healed.
Yes.
Right. You don't know the time frame that other person is going to take to do it. You know.
That's right.
But it's like what you're saying. When we don't talk about it, we give our past permission to haunt us.
That's right.
But when we talk about it, we don't have to repeat it. Because we can explore it. We can say, why this? Why? I know I got family members. I didn't even know how they were my aunt. Why I keep calling her? Well, how did she get to be?
Yes.
I don't know how you my aunt. You certainly, I don't know what happened and what so-and-so did. Why did Uncle so-and-so go crazy? What happened to him? He got into some drugs. You find out you're 50 years old. Now you understand why your uncle, who was normal at one point in your life, now doesn't act right because nobody want to tell you anything.
That's right. Why does my friend Mary, why we look alike?
Look what? And look, if you'd have told me that my uncle had gotten into some bad drugs, maybe I would have said, well, drugs are out for me. Right. But because you kept it a secret, many times our family members are just doing things that could be so prevented. The way your cousin looked like you.
Right.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Why my cousin? Why?
Well, I got a story with that.
First of all, that's not really my cousin. That's really my auntie because my granddaddy had a whole family across town.
Well, I'm gonna tell you a true story. Let's talk about my dad playing with his brother on the same street. They look so much alike that one would get a beating from sister so-and-so down the street thinking that it was the other one. And they were in their late 50s before somebody told that they were brothers. My father always thought that he was an only child. He knew nothing about any siblings. And the story unveiled itself. And he not only did he have a brother, he had some sisters as well. Now that we know everybody's gone and there are only a few of us, and now hey girl, you're doing good. Hey brother, you're doing well. You know, in that, I mean, I could have grew up with cousins and aunts and, you know, people. So we shouldn't hold these secrets because, you know, whatever happened then, and that is still carrying on, it goes to what? The grave.
That's
Mhm.
right.
Still living in that age of take it to the grave. And that's not good. You know,
It's not good.
health-wise, you know, we got issues. Don't look, I just found out diabetes running our family all this time. I'm saying that's not our portion. Yes, it is. Half of everybody there got diabetes.
Wow.
You know, so just simple stuff. Come on, people.
Right.
Exactly.
Right.
It's the simple things that we make into something huge.
Yeah.
And here's the thing is that when we learn to be transparent, then
Mhm.
that's when the healing can start.
It does.
Yes.
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 You know what I'm saying? Because we all got stuff. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? We all of us got something. Your something may not be my something may not be your something. I don't mean we ain't got something.
Exactly.
You know what
Exactly.
I'm saying? But because it's like even when I talk to my children, I try to be very open and very honest with them. Sometimes my sister say, "Tanya, you a little bit too honest sometimes." But my thing
But that's
is,
because
I would rather-
you're trying to stop that, right?
That's
You
right.
want you because you
that's
wish
my-
somebody had done that with you.
Yes.
I'm telling you, that's my
yes,
job.
yes.
If I'm not doing what I need to do when it comes to my children and my grandchildren and so forth, then I'm doing them a disservice.
Yes.
That part.
You know what I'm
When
saying?
you-
By letting them know, you know what, your mama was raped and molested. Because at one point, I'm just gonna be honest, I thought I was a secret lesbian. I ain't gonna lie.
Mhm.
I did. I really did.
It's not funny. It's the way you're saying it. I'm not laughing at you. I'm laughing with you because you're so silly. Because I know you're telling the truth. I know you. I know.
did because
Yeah.
you know one of my molestors was a woman.
Right.
You
Right.
see what I'm saying?
Right.
When I was a little girl. So now those feelings entered in. I didn't like listen. I didn't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? And then I'm gonna be honest. I was just like, Lord, I can't see me living that lifestyle. I did not want to live that lifestyle. I just like I don't want to do that. But that does not mean I did not deal with that. It wasn't until I had to confess that thing listen, y'all, when I had to minister the shame and guilt, the Lord kept saying, tell your story. And I was just like, I don't want to tell my story. And I was toiling like y'all don't understand. And then, but the moment I told, after a while, y'all know me. I'm just gonna say whatever the Lord tell me to say, right? But once I said it, and why did that particular service about the house was packed?
Of course.
You know,
Because there were many people who needed that
Listen,
liberty.
where y'all come from? Y'all don't come here every Sunday.
But you know what? You said something so.
But the moment I did, it felt like clothes was coming off me because again, that was a secret that I carried for, let's just say 30 plus years. You know what I'm saying? But the moment I revealed that, it didn't torment me anymore because it wasn't a secret. It was out and open.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And ever since you start saying it, I just kept hearing that if we could get to that place where we understand that we have so much to lose and so much to gain, and everything that we lose is not bad.
It's not.
When we miss what we can gain, like her dad not knowing that he had a brother, look at what he could have gained. Now, what would have been lost all this time? Didn't have to be lost.
Right.
So basically that was predicated on the pride of another somebody.
Right. But you know, I dealt with that same thing though. I have two younger brothers.
Wow.
I knew about them when I was 19. But they didn't meet me till I was in almost 50.
What?
I knew about them,
just
but
listen.
but
I could
it
not.
was a
Wow.
secret on my biological dad's side. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And so
Mhm.
now, we have developed a relationship now, but the years
That you
Lost.
lost. Yeah.
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 the
And
years.
it could have been so fruitful. It's unfair for your guilt and your shame to pause my life, to
Mhm.
to
That's it.
to
That's
to, to
repeat that.
change the
Repeat that again.
trajectory. Right. You know,
So
like
pause my life. I like
Pause.
that.
Mm.
you know what? When I was little, and I remember when my parents divorced, my mom kept saying she was going to leave my dad. I kept hearing this because I was the youngest one, and they don't ever tell the youngest one everything. So
Nothing.
you see all the crazy stuff happening, but you don't really know. And she kept saying that child support papers came to the house. Now, me and my little young self, 8, 9, I'm like, child support papers. And I went and I asked my sister, I said, what does that mean? She said, it means your daddy got another child somewhere. And she said it rude. And so I promise y'all, my whole life, it was never all I thought was I got 4 sisters. Maybe it's a brother. I never thought of it in a bad way. I
Right.
didn't think my dad's cheating on my mom.
Right.
And so I would ask my dad as I got older. I was scared, but I said, you know what? If I got a brother out there, I need to know.
Mhm.
So I was riding in the car. My dad went there. I said, Dad, can I ask you something? Would you be totally honest with me? He said, yeah, go ahead. I said, Dad, do you have any other children out there? His answer was so quick, I knew he was honest. He was like, no. I said, if you did, Dad, listen to me now. I said, because I need you to understand, I'll be okay because I want a brother. I tried to make it, easy for him.
Right.
I said,
Right.
listen, I almost was like, because I want one, because I want you to have one out there. And so he said, no. He said, but if I did, he said, you would know about it. But can I tell y'all, from that conversation at about 15 years old till my dad passed, when my dad passed, I said, if anybody out there, they're going to show up now.
You still looking for the brother.
Still waiting.
Always.
He ain't got nobody out there. I was hoping.
Right. So, Dr. Khalil, I'm gonna call him Dr. Khalil because he's almost there. So,
That's
what do you think?
Hi,
Right.
Dr. Khalil.
So, what do you think about when
Hello,
families
everyone.
hold generational secrets?
Well, there's so much that could be said about it. Just listening to the stories that I've heard so far, it causes me to sit back and consider the issues I've had or the secrets that were in my own family growing up. I'm sure maybe somebody has said it by now. I was out with the internet issues a little bit earlier, but there was a saying growing up. What goes on in this house stays in this house.
In this house.
You
That's
know,
right.
right? And so it was always, and that included other family members, right? So even if it was a family member outside the house, you don't tell our business.
That's right.
What's ours is ours, and that's it. Even if it is about the rest of the family, it didn't matter. But I considered a couple of different things in my own life, and one of them is that I didn't know for decades that my mother, my side of the family were we were the black sheep of the family. I had no idea. We were like the bastard kids of the family, because I came into the realization that I came from the lineage was a very affluent lineage, especially for being here in Western New York. And if you're familiar at all with, so historically there was a woman by the name of Mary B. Talbert, who is very well known. She was known as the most well-known colored woman in the United States, and she was the reason that the NAACP movement started. And so, she was one of the coordinators of the Niagara movement, which became the NAACP later on. And so, there's lots of schools and things named after her, hospitals and all kinds of stuff. And so I knew that we were related to her. You know, she's my
Okay.
great aunt,
Mhm.
actually, right? And the university that I attend here in Buffalo, University of Buffalo, we actually have Talbot Hall, which is named after her, and it's
Okay.
my great aunt, right?
Okay.
And so,
Wow.
and so I'm yeah. And so I'm beginning to learn about like my family history, and I brought
Mhm.
it up to my mom one day, and we're talking about great Aunt Mary,
Mhm.
and so then we start talking about, you know, her dad's side of the family. And I said, well, because we don't really know, I don't really know them that well. I remember them when I was younger, but I never really spent much time over there. And she started telling me stories about why we didn't spend much time. And see, she got pregnant with me very, very young, right?
Ooh.
Okay,
Mhm.
my mom was like 14 years old or something when she got pregnant with me, and it became a stain on the family's legacy.
Mm.
Ooh.
And because it was a stain on the family's name, she was shunned by
Mhm.
that side of my family.
Mhm.
And I had no knowledge of any of this at the time, of course. And she began
Ooh.
to share with me how it was such it was such so very looked down upon by the family, and it was a stain on the family name, and all that stuff, to have somebody, with a child out of wedlock, or a child that young, or the
Mhm.
bastard child, and all of that. So she ended up being shunned and shamed from the family, so much so that we were almost completely separated and divorced from that
Mm.
part of the family.
Mhm. Wow.
And so here I am as an adult, learning about my family, getting excited about it, and then
Mhm.
finding out, oh,
Mhm.
we're the bastards of the family.
Mm.
Okay. And then here I am trying to reach out now to
Mhm.
Mhm.
reconnect with this side of the family that has been lost to us. But
Mhm.
they're right here in the same city. And I said, they're in the same city, like right now, and I don't know who
Wow.
they are. And so it was very disappointing. I understood generationally how they thought during
Right.
that time period, but
Mhm.
it caused so much disconnection for the future generations, which was me, and now my children, who don't get a chance to understand that part of their family history and the legacy
Mhm.
that's attached. And so here I am trying to pick up the pieces and go. It takes so much effort now
And
to
energy.
reconnect,
Yeah.
and energy, yes, to try to
Mhm.
Yeah.
reconnect, because of the shame, of the secret of the family, and that led us to where we are now. And so
Mhm.
it's something that I said I could never do to my children, is what I told myself, right?
Mhm.
Like,
Yes.
I
Mhm.
understand that we listen, we have those members in the family where we're like, okay, we don't want to be heavily associated
Right.
with, with some of these folks.
Yeah.
However, you got that auntie or that uncle
Yes.
that is a little too friendly with the rest of the family,
We just
you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah. Yeah.
and so we all have those members in the family, but at the same time, we don't disassociate or disconnect ourselves so much
no.
that we are completely unaware of their existence,
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
and yeah, and how their affiliation with us, or their bloodline, like you were saying, uh, uh, I don't know if it's Zilphia. I'm sorry,
That's
if I
correct.
mispronounced your name.
That's
You
correct.
were talking about, okay, you were talking about diabetes, right? Like, there's some things in our family that we just need to know about,
You need to
even if
know.
we don't have a
You
close
need to
Yes.
relationship
know.
with
You
them.
know.
Yes.
We just need to know some stuff,
That's
okay?
right.
Yes.
uh,
Mhm.
yes. And
And
so
then and
anyhow,
then
that's where we are, and that's what it is to
Secrets.
me.
and then the beautiful thing about that is when because even when I met my biological grandmother, I was like, where did my son get those eyes? My son has beautiful hazel eyes. He looked like my biological grandmother.
Wow.
And I had an opportunity to meet her when I was 19 before she passed. Thank God I was able to meet her.
Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, I know for myself, the psychological part of that was rejection.
Mhm.
Yes.
Am I not good enough
Mhm.
to be a part of the family?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? so you start thinking about those things,
Mm-hmm.
but it was never explained. So now you come to your own conclusion.
That's true.
Right.
And a lot of times your own conclusion, more than likely, it's not fact.
Well, you don't have enough information to even make a conclusion.
Right. Because no one wants to be transparent
That part.
about what's happening or what took place.
Mm-hmm.
But why not be transparent so that we can know and we can do better?
Right.
That part. We can do better.
And
we can do better.
And I'm gonna just throw this in there. And I love this because it stuck with me and I live by it. My professor, my mentor, Professor Iris Stevenson, said something to me one time. She said, if you do not tell your story, they will write one for you.
That's the truth.
Yeah. That's
the truth.
Yeah.
That's good.
That is good. That's good.
That's super good right there.
That's the truth because we don't know. And we're good for making our own conclusions.
Yes.
And then here's the thing. When we make our own conclusions, a lot of times it makes us feel certain things that we never had to feel.
Right. Right.
And look at ourselves inwardly in a way that we should never have to look at ourselves like that.
Right.
Like for myself, am I not good enough for you? So now that carries on for myself because that stemmed from my biological father. So now that came from that it went on to relationships.
Right.
Let me prove that I can be in this relation. Let me prove to you that I'm a good woman. You know what I'm saying? Like all those different things subconsciously.
Yes. Don't even realize.
Exactly. Don't even. I pray this God showed me like, wow, what's up? But God went back to the time that I was conceived and broke that thing down for me. Now I understand.
Right.
But that doesn't have my past does not have to be my tomorrow.
Yes.
Thank you. That's part right there. I love that. Tell your story so nobody else has to write it.
I like that.
I'm gonna hold on to that. Look,
I am too.
I'm wondering what I'm doing. I'm over here on my other computer taking notes.
Well, I'm writing.
I'm doing that. So you see my head turn. I'm taking notes. And I say that because what you're saying about Lord deal with me. When my parents decided to divorce, I was when my mama finally left my dad for the last time, for real this time, I decided she done left by 17 good times. I was tired of packing up the house. You know what? I'm going to let you go head on because y'all ain't do nothing but come back. And then we got to unpack all this mess again. So we wrote a song called You Don't Know How Much Junk You Got Till You Move. We created a whole dance to it.
That's the truth.
That's how frustrated we were.
Right.
And so this last time I said, well, you know what? I'm not going this time. I'm going to let you go. Because you coming back, right? Well, she didn't come back that time. And when she didn't come back that time, she was mad at me for not choosing to go.
Oh, wow.
At 12. To the point, now she moved to a town 15 minutes away. And I still thought she was coming back, but she got a house. When she bought a house, I knew she wasn't coming back. And I would call her and say, hey, Ma, I want to come over for the weekend. Can you come? Always very short. No, I ain't got no gas. After about maybe a good 3 or 4 of those calls, I started making my own conclusion. She's not coming to get me. She is mad at me, right? So I made my own little plans. I told my dad, I want to see my sisters. Can you take me over? Of course he would, right? Moving the story forward, at 12, I couldn't understand that she was mad at me for choosing to stay with my father. But what she failed to realize that I wasn't choosing to stay with my father. I was choosing to stay stable.
Yes.
I wasn't a child that was going to do good in all this back and forth, right? I'm a little different, right? And so, but when I'm a little different. So when I got good and grown, the Lord told me this. He said, I was going through my marriage issues. And I was trying to stay, married because there was so much divorce happening in my family, but my marriage, it was just awful because of some of my abandonment issues. I'm saying this to say, because I openly shared my testimony, because I openly talked about it, there were people that God would just send to me to give me that nugget. And that nugget
Yes.
that began to help me, get over. So now I'm at a place when it comes to abandonment issues. I'm okay with being fifth when I know that's what I'm supposed to be.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not okay with being fifth when I'm supposed to be first. Right. So if I'm in a line and I'm in the fifth place, I'm cool because this is where I'm supposed to be. But if I'm in a marriage and I'm supposed to be first, you can't put me fourth. You can't put me third. And that don't work for me. And it stems all the way back to that place of your mom not, treating you like I was the baby. How do you pass up on your baby? You know what I'm saying? We used to bake biscuits together. We had a great relationship. I just chose my dad. And the other thing, what I did was I came home one day and I said, Mom, I'm taking you to lunch. And I said, and what I want to do, I ain't going to talk. I said, I want you to tell me your story.
Yeah, that part.
And I learned from my mom that day. And when I tell you grace came in, forgiveness came in, I learned that her first marriage, she was pregnant and he left her. He brought his pregnant girlfriend. They were both 8 months pregnant. They had just bought a house and he told her he wanted her to leave and call her daddy and told him to come and get her.
Wow.
So being cheated on was a big deal in her life.
Yes.
Now, I am not in your marriage. I don't know what my daddy is doing to you. All I know is he play with me, he love me, he take care of me. You love me, you play with me, you take care of me. I'm too young to understand he's cheating on you because you ain't telling nobody he's cheating on you. And even if you did, I can't process that. What you want me to do, be mad? He's not my husband. He's my daddy. And so I had that in my whole mind.
But you know what? That's something, and this is a little bit off subject of that, but I'm gonna say something right there. As parents have to understand, because you have an issue with the other parent, you should not involve your children in your drama. That is not their burden. And that's another thing that happens. Like we make our children carry burdens. They
should not.
I didn't have enough information to make a decision to be mad at him.
But it's wrong. But it's wrong.
Yes.
And I'm going to say this. It is wrong for a parent to make a child choose sides.
Yes. Yeah. And that part. But when it related to finishing out her story, then I found out, okay, now I understand why you don't do cheating, because this has been happening to you over and over and over. But you never told me this. How am I supposed? Because you keeping everything quiet. But if you'd have told me what you experienced, when I went through my divorce after being married 27 and a half years old, I told my kids all about it. You understand? They were good and grown. And since you good and grown, I don't want you to go through this. And even right now as adults, when I see them making wrong moves that I know is not going to pan out for them, I always got a good example. Now, let me tell you what was happening. You saw me about to throw that shoe and about knock your daddy head off. Let me tell you what was going on, because this finna bless your whole life. I'm finna help you because I see you about to repeat a pattern. I don't really want you to do that because you don't got to do your life like that. Right. I'm going to let you borrow this whole chapter. Right. You don't need a page. I'm giving you the whole chapter.
And something you said right there, the pattern. And that's what a lot of the mimicking of in our children and generations. It's a pattern that they saw there again that came from way back then, and we've just been recycling it. That's right. We're not talking about
it. We're not talking about it. You know, like there's generational pregnancies. Where everybody getting pregnant at the age of 16. You know, like I knew one girl, she dated a guy. The men in the family that she dated never got married. None of the men are married.
Wow. Because
the guy said, this is how we do it. They'll be with you forever. And they may have a little side piece on the side, because that's how he was raised.
And that's what she saw.
Exactly. But then when she started digging into his past, realized that his great grandfather was a whole pimp. You see what I'm saying? So they don't know why they act the way they do.
And that bit, the behaviors, what
It's the behavior
it's the
that was
behavior.
passed down.
That residue, and you know, it's because residue is so thin, you don't even know why. They
don't know
what is it? It's like they give the example of the ham. You know how generationally you cut the butt of the ham off, and you don't even know why you're doing it. And somebody finally asks why, and they discover, oh, because grandma's pan was too short. She wasn't cutting it off because the butt was bad. She was cutting it off because the ham couldn't fit in her pan.
Right.
Yet we sitting here cutting the butt, wasting all that good ham.
All that good ham. That's right.
Because we don't know.
Right.
Because we don't know.
Mm-hmm.
You know how much ham we done wasted?
Okay, so if I can, listen. So I'm sorry that really tickled me. Okay, so if I can though, something is so interesting because those patterns is another way of saying tradition. And so these things, even our shortcomings for the future generations, becomes a tradition for them. It becomes a tradition to be the unwed one. It becomes a tradition to have all of these things are traditions, right? Because that's what a tradition is. It's a pattern. It's a behavior of doing the same thing over and over and over again. From time period to time period, generation to generation, it's a tradition, these patterns. And something, I keep saying something came to me. God gave me something a long time ago about tradition. I was putting together an event. It was a music festival thing. And everyone kept saying, oh, well, we don't want to do anything new because this is our tradition. And we've been doing it for, it was 32 years at the time. And it said, so we don't want to do anything. We want to, we want to keep it the tradition because we want to, the tradition is important. And I said, okay. I said, but does it mean that we can't do something new for this event anymore because of the tradition? And the way that God gave it to me was this: a tradition is only a tradition because someone could not find the value of change.
Oh, now wait a
The
minute.
only reason that we keep doing
no sir
You gonna
the
pause
only
right
reason
there. Pause now. We gotta write it down.
Wait a minute. The value of what?
Okay.
The value of what? The
So
value of what?
tradition is only tradition. So tradition is only tradition because someone could not find the value of change.
Please don't
And
say
so-
nothing else till I finish.
Okay,
And so-
right.
Write it down. I done messed it up again.
Ooh, that's good.
That is so rich.
That
And
is.
so-
The
when
only
it came-
reason tradition is tradition is because someone couldn't find the value of change. Couldn't identify the value of change.
Yes.
Jesus.
Yes.
I got
And
a
that's
whole Rotobo
exactly-
Shondo
that's
Hey,
little
now.
for that.
All that.
Hey, I'm sorry.
Listen. So that's exactly the way that God gave it to me. It was like this divine download. It hit me like a ton of bricks. And when it did, I said, oh my goodness, this light came on. All of a sudden, I mean, years and years and years of following these things, not because I thought it was just so wonderful, but because I was trying to honor those that came before me, because I was trying to live up to their legacy, but because I was trying to do it the way that they did it. And so that's the reason why I do the church program the way I do it, the way I give the honor and blessing to God who's the head of my life. The reason I do all these things is not because I enjoy it so much or I think it's so wonderful, but it's because I was trying to live up to the legacy, trying to honor all of those that came before, right? But what I thought about was that for all these people who were starting these things, for Dr. King and Malcolm X and Rosa Parks and Coretta Scott and Mahatma Gandhi and all these other people that came before us, right? It wasn't tradition for them. It was groundbreaking.
That's right.
It was new. It had not been done. They were new pathways. They were stepping out of their comfort zone. They were crossing lines, right? There were all of these things were new for them. And when they didn't have a plan, they didn't have a tradition to build off of, they had something new and they were doing it. Somebody took it and said, "Oh, that was great. Let's do it again." And then somebody else look at it and said, "Oh, that was wonderful. Well, it worked last year. It worked the year before. Child, we ain't gonna recreate the wheel. We just gonna go ahead and do it again." Ain't that right? And so
right.
we start
You're
using recreating the wheel as an excuse to not be groundbreaking. We use recreating the wheel as an excuse
Jesus.
not to do something new. We use recreating the wheel as a reason not to go forth and forge a new path or to take the leap or to jump out into the unknown. And then we call it tradition and say we're doing something honorable. And we say we're doing something beautiful and wonderful. I see you. I see you.
I just want to know. I don't see it, and I'm trying to share it to my platform because this is so good. How do I share it? Because this is so good.
It really is. It really is.
Where is it streaming at? Because I don't.
Can we talk for real? Page.
Okay, I'm sorry. Keep going.
It's good. Well, it's setting people free from.
It is. It is,
you know.
and this is what we're talking about when we say when family holds generational secrets,
Mhm.
because that's a secret.
Yes.
You know, I'm going to do it this way because, and then we got to look at the backdrop. Am I doing it this way because, like you said, I don't want to be shunned, or am I doing it this way because I don't want to be exposed?
Well, let me say this. I'm so in agreement with you, Doctor, because I come from a lineage of pastors. Okay. So, like you're saying, recreate. I've always been in that tug of war. Even now, I'm in that tug of war because I want to go this way and try it this way, and we never done it that way. So sometimes I'll back up in that corner, and I don't talk or I don't. There go that cousins. There's that cousin,
Right.
Because I want to try something new that is
Out
there.
That's right.
And your circles are, like this, and they hold you tight. And we say hold each other accountable, but sometimes we're holding each other in prison because we want to keep it right here. There go them secrets again. So I secretly, go back in this shell because I don't want to step out there too far because of tradition. I don't want to embarrass nobody. My father did it this way, my sister did this way, and I've got to hold that in a certain way. And I'm all out here. I'm a blue leaf. I'm just I kind of we talk for real. That's hey. Just put it out there. I'm sorry.
Come on, let's get it.
So I do believe that is that's a secret thing. Because now here it is, I secretly say to my nieces and them, don't do it that way. Now I'm gonna need for y'all to do it this way and be yourself and be free. But I support in that. No, don't do it like me. Do it your way. Because see, that's where I got stuck. I'm not gonna let you be stuck in this, So I do agree. We have to break those barriers and forge forward. Oh, I thank you now. Come on, I thank you, Prophetess, for this platform to talk about these things.
Yeah.
Because who's getting free from this conversation? Who's getting free from this? That's what it's about.
It is, because when we talk about I just love the fact that you are agreed to even come on and share and be open and honest, because this is how our nation is going to get healed.
I agree.
You know what I'm saying? Yes. This is how our families are going to get healed. This is how, because when we keep allowing shame and guilt to hold us bondage, then we're saying I'm going to continue to allow you to keep me hostage, so that I don't. What you're saying is I don't want to be free.
Fear.
Fear. Listen, you can have fear of success.
Yeah.
I didn't see no one else in my family have that level of success that I want. You know what I'm saying? Then you have to give yourself permission to be successful. Give yourself permission to even be free. You know what I'm saying? Like, no one said that we had to continue the legacy of secret. You know what I'm saying? At some point,
legacy.
You know, we need a timeout button. Y'all doing too much. The legacy of what?
Secrets.
My God.
No one says we got to continue that.
No one said we had to. You know what I'm saying? Because it's like Dr. Khalil was talking about earlier, you know, whatever happens in the house gonna stay in the house. And we sweep stuff up on the rug, but don't y'all know that rug at some point when you keep sweeping, it's gonna pile up.
Yes.
And it's gonna get lumpy and bumpy, and somebody gonna trip and fall.
That's right.
So when are we not only gonna stop sweeping, but when we're gonna start, when we're gonna have the courage to take up the rug and just throw it away?
Courage.
And deal with the pile of dirt.
And deal with the pile of dirt.
No matter what comes out of it. Because if you keep at it long enough, you'll get to a clean floor.
Listen, he said he'll give you beautiful ashes.
Yes. Yes.
So what ashes are you smutting around? What's some ashes? Because you know, if you take ash and you rub it, it's gonna leave a trail. It's gonna leave some dirt, and then you gotta scrub it. So how many of y'all are dirty? Who's dirty?
All of us, if we want to be fair and we want to be honest, all of us, right?
Exactly.
Like you started off, there's no family that's untouchable. There's no one. I don't care what color you are. I don't care what your financial status is. I don't care what your academic status and how high you've achieved, what your achievement levels may be. You just two people removed from trauma and crazy.
Right.
You just a few generations or a few family members away from the crackhead.
That's right.
And instead of understanding,
or it's a crackhead in your family, you just hid them.
You just won't talk about it. You don't pretend like he just crazy. No, when we gonna ever talk about, when we gonna deal with why?
Why?
The why of the secret, the why of the trauma, the why of the crackhead, the why of the wino. You know, one of the reasons I try to stay away from alcohol is because now this is crazy, y'all. I don't know why y'all got me out here telling all my business in these streets. Now listen,
we just out here.
I was a teenager driving a yellow school bus, literally at 16, because in my small town, they needed everybody, so they gave us a license. And I'm telling y'all, some of the most embarrassing experience I had was my dad's father on the side of the road drunk, and you got a bus full of kids. Now, do you ride past your granddaddy with his drunk self and you ain't never seen him sober a day in your life? Or do you pull over, tell the kids, if you tell on me, we're going to have a problem. Get your granddaddy up with all the ants crawling all over him. He can't even feel it because he's so drunk. Put him on the bus because his house is right on your bus stop. Or do you drive by and hear later tonight your granddaddy got killed because he was drinking and got hit by a driver?
Right.
I wanted to know my whole life, and I remember asking my father, why is granddaddy drinking so much? Why have I never seen him sober? And my dad didn't know why, but I kept digging because I'm nosy like that. And so I asked my dad's mom. Well, they had a lot of kids. My grandfather was in the Dixie Hummingbird. Y'all know that's a quartet group. They were a pretty famous quartet group.
Okay.
But if y'all know anything about quartet groups, you know the women chase them.
Yes.
At the gospel concerts, ain't nothing to have a pair of drawers in your hand, pair of panties at the Christian concerts. The people singing about Jesus and you sliding them some panties.
That's right. That's the truth. Seen it.
And so what had happened was
the truth anyhow, as they say. It's the truth anyhow.
What had happened was my granddaddy was married and he had 5 kids, but he was out there on the road, sowing his royal oats.
Mhm.
And then his mama had to come in because he got 10 kids with his wife. His mom came in and took half of the kids.
Mm.
And if I had to use my sanctified imagination, I don't think she asked. I think she just took them to
She
help.
did. Back then they did.
That's what they
Yeah.
did. That's what they did.
Right. And so he wasn't able to be a father to half of his kids. And then the ones he was with, he didn't want to be a father with them because he felt like he was a failure. So what he did was he went out, and in this music gang he was in, of course, they have different habits, and the habits got him.
Yeah.
And so for me, my mom's dad was alcoholic too. So for me, it was too much alcohol. I was like, I don't know what's in my gene. I can't get into that.
Now that part, now you're right. That's why when I started
true.
off, I started talking about the alcoholism that ran in our family and how it was a secret and didn't nobody talk about it. But we looking at all these people drinking. Then I found out that the women can out drink the doggone men. So I'm like, don't nobody drink. Please don't just don't drink.
Don't
I
drink.
raised mine saying, hey, do not drink. I'm telling you, an addiction runs in the family. Please don't do it because it may not be alcohol. It may be something else that catch you down the line. Then down the line,
Something else.
can we just break this? Can we just cut this right here?
Right.
So I understand what you're saying on that one. I just couldn't do it. I was scared.
The smell of it can turn me way off because I have such a negative picture of it.
Yes.
I literally at 16 picking a man off of the side of the road. That was the most humiliating thing. And then you got to threaten the kids on the bus. You better not turn me in. You better not tell them. Because I can't leave my granddaddy out here.
Secrets.
And then for a long time, I wouldn't even come home and tell my dad.
Yeah.
I wouldn't tell him I was picking, I was where I was seeing it. And then one day it just got to be too much, And so I said, Dad, we got to get granddaddy some help. He said, why did you say that? I said, because I'm picking him up off of the side of the road very often. He said, what? He didn't even know. He didn't even know.
But just think of the pressure that you had at that
time.
16.
That was not your responsibility.
Right.
It wasn't your responsibility. So what did that do to you that now done passed down?
I was embarrassed because he would pee all over himself.
You know, you were talking about adults and parents. That goes back to that parenting thing. And, we keep hoarding. I'm going to say hoarding. For some families, we got a lot of stuff under the rug.
That's right.
I went to visit with someone and their brother called it issues and concerns. And I actually started something with my family. Hey, come on. Let's do issues and concerns, and let's talk about these things because
that's good.
I like that.
Snatching the family apart, we need to talk about this. I want to know why you mad at this one, and why are you mad? I actually asked permission from a young lady. She does it once a year. And she does it. Yeah, and she does it for her friends and family. Everybody come together in her backyard once a year. I said, hey, can I use that and take it over to the church? She said, yeah, because at the time they didn't know I was a pastor and all that. I told everybody, be quiet, don't tell, because people run away. They don't want to talk. They didn't know to the end. We were getting ready to just about get on the plane.
Right.
I said about her shoes, I was gonna preach on them. Girl, I'm gonna buy them shoes. And I was like, dog, I let it out. But I love the idea. And that's what we're doing today. We're talking about issues and concerns in the world. In the world. So I can't go on and get it, girl, because I kind of took it from her.
I just encourage people to ask questions, man. Don't be in a family and you see crazy, strange behavior, and begin to ask questions. You know what I'm saying? Ask until somebody answer you. And if you can't get an answer over here, go ask somebody else. I learned things about family members, not from my mom or my dad, but from other people in the family who listen, you go to the people who ain't scared to talk.
Exactly.
They ain't got no dog in the fight. They want to tell you everything you need to know.
They want to tell it all.
What?
Yeah.
Oh, girl, you don't know how she. Let me tell you. Come here, sit down. Let me tell. I'm gonna run it to you. That's who you want to talk to those people who can be honest. you
Right.
know.
But we also
Yeah.
have to be able to listen with a non-judgmental ear.
Definitely.
Yes.
Definitely.
You
Yes.
know, and not judge our family members or whomever else,
Right.
you know, and be okay with the truth.
Yeah. That
That
part.
part. That part, right.
That part.
Be okay with the truth. Even if
absolutely.
you don't, whether you agree with it, whether you disagree with it, whether you don't like it, whether you have an opinion about it, it don't matter, because their reality, their perception is their reality.
Yes.
And
Yes.
their truth is their truth.
That's right. So you saying basically prepare for truth.
Prepare for the
Because
truth.
when you start asking questions,
That's
you
right.
you don't really understand what may be coming. But I believe the more you know.
Oh my
You know
God.
what I'm saying?
Oh my
The
God.
better you can do with it, the better in life you can do with it. I really hate that a lot of times, and when I look at my own life, I've made a lot of my decisions based on what I didn't want, because I didn't have enough of examples of what I should have wanted. Does that make sense?
It does.
So
Yeah,
I
it
don't
makes
do
perfect
this
sense.
because
Yeah.
right. I don't do this because I saw too much of that. I don't do this because that didn't work out. I don't, but not enough of I'm going this way because that was successful for. I'm going to try that because she did good with that.
Yeah.
I probably could do. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly. And but I think human nature is that we sometimes we gravitate to the negative and try to fix the negative instead of gravitating to the positive to make
That's
it
true.
even better. Or
That's true.
sometimes it's just great as it is and we can just repeat it.
Mm.
You know, but
There you go.
that goes back to how the enemy tricks us in our mind. Because we always say the battlefield's in our mind. It tricks us with our mind based on what our eye gate, based on what we
Yes.
say.
Right.
You just said something. You just said something. You said or not or just repeat it. So we're good at repeating the bad,
That's right.
but not the good.
Not the
But
good.
not the good. It's just like kids. You know, you think about kids, they'll pick up on cuss words, they'll pick up on all this negative stuff, but boy, you can't even read a book.
Right.
Right.
Right. Right.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, that's how
That's the truth. That's the truth.
that's human nature.
Right. I want to, if I can go back to something that Prophetess Jones said earlier, and I love it. It was you have to prepare for truth.
Yes.
Right? Being prepared. You know what? You can put that notebook down. Okay. And so it was about being prepared for truth. And so what it makes me think of though is I was a preteen or something, and my father came in my bedroom and said, "I told you to clean this room." And I looked at this room and I said, "It is clean." Okay. And so he tried to show me that room was not clean. And so he went under the bed, pulled everything out. He went in the closet, pulled everything out. He went under the rug that I was sweeping under and pulled everything out. He went in every corner of the room, every crevice, under the pillows, behind the wall, everywhere he could go. He went and pulled out all of my junk, right? And then he took it and he put it in one huge pile in the middle of the room and said, "Okay, now separate it and put everything where it belongs. If it's trash, throw it out. If it needs to go back in the closet, hang it up. If it goes on the rack, put it on the rack. And if it needs to go in the dirty clothes, put it in the dirty clothes." And I said, okay, I was so annoyed that he took all of my junk that I had hidden all over the room. And it had been there for probably months, maybe, right? And he exposed all of my junk and allowed me to realize that maybe it's not as clean as I thought it was. He exposed some areas that I didn't realize were cluttering my space, cluttering my mind, my ability to think clearly, to see clearly, because clearly I thought that my space was clean and it was not, right? And so then I found myself having to have the courage to engage with my own junk.
Wow.
And if you do not have the courage to engage your own junk,
Mhm.
you will
Mhm.
never be
Mhm.
as clean as your space as you think it is, right?
That's right.
And so, do you
Mhm.
know that here I am over 30 years later? The only way I can clean an entire room is to pull everything out from the corner, from under, from behind, from in between. I have to pull everything out and throw it in one big pile in the middle
Mhm.
of
Wow.
the room. And I have to
Wow.
force myself to engage the clutter. And I
Engage the
put
clutter.
That's
Uh-oh.
everything,
good.
Uh-oh.
That's
engage the
good.
color.
Engage
And
with
so
the
then
junk.
I separate, I separate, and I put everything in its proper place where it belongs. I said, okay, you were somewhere you did not belong, and that's why it was causing me anguish. It was causing me unrest. It was causing
Mm-hmm.
me to not have peace of mind. I could not
Mhm.
enjoy this space anymore because everything was in disarray. But I
Yeah.
had to
Yeah.
engage the clutter with courage and
Mm.
Know
determination.
that.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
And now I have begun to train myself. This is the best way for me to attack a situation is to
Mm-hmm.
engage it head on, pull it out from the corner, throw it in the middle of the floor, and say, this is an issue.
Mhm.
Now put
Mhm.
it where it belongs.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh,
so I
okay
have
now.
taught my children. I go in the bedroom, I pull everything out. That after they have told me they have cleaned the room, I
Oh
pulled
yeah.
everything out and I put it in the pile. And I said, this room is not clean yet, but it will be.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want you to take
Yeah.
everything and put it where it belongs.
Look at
And
that.
this is how we learn to confront and engage issues and concerns.
That's
Yes.
good.
That's it.
That's
You
Tie
just
it
good.
wrapped
on
it
in.
all up right there.
Yeah,
That's
right
good.
there. That
That's
is so
good.
good.
That's good. Listen, y'all, we can talk all night because this is a much needed topic
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
in order to heal a nation. Is to
Yes.
be
It is.
transparent.
It
So
is.
I do want to invite you all. We'll get together. I do want to invite you all to come back, and I do want a part 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, whatever
Whatever
it takes,
necessary. Whatever
whatever
it
it
takes.
takes,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm all for having those real conversations. Y'all know me. Let's
Mm-hmm.
just be real. Let's be transparent, because it's no more, and it's not okay to hide.
Right.
No.
To hide behind a secret. It's no more. It's not okay to hide behind a false legacy.
No.
Mm-mm.
It's not okay.
Mm-mm.
Not okay.
At some point, we have to say enough.
Yes.
Gotta
We
break.
have to say enough of the bleeding in my family.
Yes.
Mhm.
So I just want to encourage our listeners, even ourselves, to stand up and say, you know what? I'm that one that's going to stop the bleeding.
Yes.
I'm going to be transparent. I'm going to be real because I have courage to expose the truth.
Mm-hmm. That's good. That's good.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mhm.
listen, you all, thank you so much for tuning in to Can We Talk For Real with our fabulous guests, Prophetess Sharon Jones, Dr. Clark, and
Love
Dr.
you.
Newkirk. Hallelujah. I'm about to stop praying, y'all. But just want to say, that's a preacher boy, right? But I just want to say thank you so much for tuning in. We don't take it lightly, nor do we take it for granted that you found time to come in and be a part of this community of transparency that heals a nation. Although this is Can We Talk For Real, real talk for real people, the real and the raw, with your life and mindset transformational speaker, Tiny and Tobias. Understand this, sweet babies, family, and friends. Love you enough to be good to you.
Yeah.
Let's live on purpose. Let's live on purpose. And let's live with a purpose. I believe in you. I want you to believe in you. God bless. Until next time. Stay tuned, y'all. Don't go nowhere.
Goodbye.